All right. Multitasking here, guys, so bear with me. If the audio is too loud or something, let me know because I'm trying to produce and host and everything else. So I've done the best I can. And happy Wednesday, and welcome to the very first Mind Your Business podcast. Hey, Stephanie, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. This is Stephanie, guys. I kind of trapped her with this. She started helping me with my website, and we were sitting in the studio, and she said, you should do a podcast, and then it just kind of went down, went from there. So I said, yeah, you're right. So here we are, and I apologize for, like I said, I'm trying to produce and watch it and everything else. So the start is usually what stops most people. So I figured, what the hell, let's get this done. So bear with us. I got a lot of things I want to talk about. First thing I want to talk about is this weekend and like our next couple weeks going on. And let me know if I'm trying to watch the stream, if it's too loud or something like that, because I can't really listen to it. I feel like I'm cutting out. So I've got the chat board open. So, if it's too loud or if I need to make an adjustment, just let me know if you would, please. So this weekend, Iowa Dirt Nationals at Maquoketa Speedway. Thursday is practice. Friday and Saturday will be the Dirt Nationals. Let's see. Next weekend, we are in Arkansas. Sounds good. Thanks, Travis. Next weekend, we're in Arkansas for the Natural State Nationals at, Central Arkansas Motor Speedway, Plummerville, Arkansas. That one is IMCA Mod Lights and Arkansas Factory Stocks. That one's $4,000 to win, so that's good. That should be a good show. I haven't been to that track yet, but we'll see how that goes. Interested to see. I like the street stocks. We did a street stock show last year in Florida, and ended up we damn near sold the place out, so it was pretty amazing. And then let's see. Next week, we're probably going to be doing another podcast. I got news today, and I know everybody's seen that Davenport Speedway has found a promoter. And if you know who it is, I'd rather you not put it in the thread. We're going to have an announcement. I'm going to bring Sean and Shane and the promoters in. I don't know what day. We're going to have to verify and see when everybody is ready. And maybe Monday. I don't know. We're going to have to see if everybody can make it on Monday. And then that way, we'll just get it all lined up. I'll probably just produce that one. So, again, bear with me here. I feel like I'm cutting out when I turn my head. So, like I said, this was just something I've been wanting to do podcast. I built this studio about 3 years ago. We've doing a True Grit. Shane and them do a great job. And let's see, now my phone is chirping at me. So, like I said, I just figured, I small business owner for 20 years, and I don't know if I can help anybody or not, but I kind of have a story, and I'd like to eventually get other businesses in here so they can tell their story. It's not easy out there anymore, as we can, everything is kind of flipped on its head. I'm going to be changing a bunch of stuff, and we'll get to that. That's why I'm thankful to have Stephanie in here to ask me some questions and kind of take the pressure off of me, even though we're going to put it on her, but that's all right. Like I said, you got to be uncomfortable to grow. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I do have some announcements other than the tracks. So I guess where we're going to start, Stephanie's wrote down some questions. I've read some of them. I don't know how she's going to do it. James, you're something else, James. So, yeah, go ahead, Steph.
Well, since you were talking about your story already, can you share that with us? What's the story behind the story?
What's the story behind the story?
Mm-hmm. What inspired you to start your business?
Well, I'd have to back up. I worked at Alcoa. I had a job at Alcoa I worked at Alcoa for 10 years. I got hired there when I was like 20 years old. And I told myself that I didn't want to be there forever. So, I told myself like a 10 and out thing, and I ended up with like 11 and a half years. And I was in the break room one night, and I was actually awake for one time. I usually not awake when I was in the break room. Worked a lot of nights and stuff like that. But my supervisor came in, and they were offering a buyout, and I just said, yeah, I want it. I didn't even think about it. And that's where it all started. And it was great because I got a good chunk of money. And I didn't have to quit like that day. So I took it till the end of the year, which was great because I paid up on all my bills and everything. But then the bad part was when I started looking for a job, like in February, man, because like I said, this was 21 years ago. And shoot, everything I seen in the paper, everything else was $7 or $8 an hour. So, I'm like, oh my God. Then I was like freaking out. So I'm like, what am I going to do? Right. I've literally had 4 jobs in my life. I worked at a lumber yard, worked at the factory, worked at another plant back home. But that's when it hit me. And then I kept seeing an ad in the paper. It said $2,500 a week. Hey guys, the ad kept saying $2,500 a week, right? And I'm like, that's weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I finally went up, and it was a satellite guy. We won't have to get into who it was.
Anybody knows who that would be?
Well, I'm sure some people do. It was right up the street too. It was right on Utica Ridge in Spruce Hills, I think. So I went up there and literally sat on the couch for 2 days because he's just like, well, just grab somebody to go out with them. And I'm like, what? So I'm trying to get a job. And he's like, yeah, just wait till somebody comes in and just grab them. So I'm like, okay. So it's funny because I met one of my best friends that way too, because I said, Max Ray, I'm going to throw you under the bus a little bit, Max, but Max has turned into one of my best friends, but he was working at the same place, and he walked in, and I just kind of threw myself at him like, dude, I'm out here I was hungover, right? I mean, I was, and I'm just like, I jumped in his truck, and I'm like, can I ride with you, dude? I really got to get a job. Anyhow, so yeah, that's where it started, and then that was 3 years. I worked for them for 3 years, and that's where the name came from, Done Right Satellite, because the guy did literally everything not so right. Mm-hmm. And it's funny the way I kind of got caught because, I started out making a whole lot of money, and then the longer I was with them, the more I felt like I was getting screwed over. So I had some business cards made, and one day I went into work, and he threw my business card on the table, and he's like, what's this? And I'm like, does that mean I'm not getting any work today, kind of thing, So he owed me some money, but that was it, man. And so I was there in another spot where I'm like, okay, now I'm not going to get paid my last check, so now it's time to go. So I borrowed like $5,000 from my mom, and I said, I'm going to buy some equipment. And the reason I had cards is because I was spreading them out to all my, my customers and stuff like that. So, it worked out, man. I mean, but it was a different ball game back then. It was when Satellite was coming out. It was like $50 a month. It was right when the DVR and stuff came out, and I loved what I did, man, because I was stuck in a factory forever. So yeah, thanks, Tim. I knew somebody'd throw it out there. I loved what I did, man, because I was stuck in a factory, and I did, I was an operator. I ran the cranes and ran the heat treats and a bunch of other stuff, which was okay. But I'm just like, man, I felt like what a waste. And then when I started doing the satellite, I felt like I had purpose, man. I mean, I was, I was leaving people's houses and had smiles on their face. I was making good money, and I was helping people out. I was making, the TVs were looking good, and I was having a blast. Until, like I said, until Brian caught up and, well, yeah. Now that it's out, I guess. So that's where it all started. And then, next thing you know, I've got semis and stuff pulling up in front of my house.
I'm sure your neighbors loved you.
My neighbors didn't love me at all. Misty, I hired Misty. She was working out of my basement. And, my garage was full of stuff. I had cardboard everywhere and old dishes. And, I mean, anybody that's ever done satellite, you're going to have a pile of dishes. And I had all of that. So that's when I bought my store. And it was great, man, for a long time, right? But then, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I don't know when it started to take a dump, but satellite just, you know, it's $120 a month, streaming when the streaming started taking off. And so then I got into cameras and stuff like that and started doing that. And, you know, and that was great for a while too. But, like, you know, we were just talking earlier and I'm like, man, it's just a different ballgame because now everything, even like there's not a whole lot of use for guys like me anymore because everything is wireless. Everything is like just plug and play. You got solar panel cameras. They're real easy. And I remember the first few jobs I did, I would have the customer like open, you know, it says here, download this app on your phone. And as soon as I did that one time, I'm like, give me your phone. Because I mean, it's just so easy when you open the app, it just walks you through literally every step. So I had a customer following me around, like doing the install on her phone. And, you know, and I'm just like, oh, I can't ever do that again. And, you know, that caught up with me. Like I said, that was good too for a minute, but then, it went away, you know, it's still there, but it's just not like, and advertising and stuff. I mean, it's nothing like it used to be. Mm-hmm. Nothing. I mean, if you're not spending money and being in the right spot, but I was never like that, man. I always just talked to my customers and tried to be the best I could with that. So yeah, and that brought me to, I feel like I might be missing some stuff there, but that's pretty accurate.
Right. So, you know, tell us a little bit about some of the challenges that you experienced with the business through the years, as far as, you know, some of the major challenges.
Well, the biggest challenge is the market, you know, I mean, not necessarily the market, but the industry was just changing so fast, you know, I mean, because when streaming started, I mean, it was like that, you know.
Has the workforce been affected also? The
workforce, I think, has been affected because, you know, when you know, I was one of the top retailers in the country, but then everybody on the planet was selling, you know, there was probably 30 retailers in town, bunch of door knockers, you know, everybody did what I did. It just started their own business because it was a good business. It paid a lot, you know, we made a lot of money. You know, and then, so that was my biggest thing is it changed and there was so many people doing it and everybody bailed out, you know, including the guy that started me and, you know, and I stuck with it and changed it up and stuff. And here I am again now, you know, so it's like, well, what am I going to do now with the cameras and everything going away? It's, you know, and here's, you know, that's been the biggest thing but you know, everything changes, man. And it changed up on me and I knew it was happening. I told my whole team, I told everybody that I knew that I'm like, listen, this ain't going to last, right? Mm-hmm. You know, it's not going to last. And I've had great people working with me and for me and everything, for the whole time I've been around this industry. I'm grateful for it. But everything changes, you know, and technology is so fast now that it's like, man, if you're not on the ball,
right,
you're going to get left behind.
It's true.
You know, so true. And that's kind of where I feel like I've got some other things going on, fortunately. But yeah, it's just that I stayed too long. Mm-hmm. I think because, you know, I was one of the better ones, and I had a blast. So I didn't want it to go away, yeah. Man. I loved what I did. Yeah.
Well, you know, it takes a lot of dedication to run a successful business. How do you maintain that passion, though? Do you feel like you were feeding off the people you're around, or what's the?
If it wasn't for my customers, like, you know what I mean, because I took pride in that. Mm-hmm. You know, when I went to a job, I always try to do the cleanest work. I mean, when I went in there, I wanted the house to look better than it did. And I would see all kinds of, and everybody's seen it, right? You see the houses with the dishes right in the front of the house and right. the cable's coming over the gutter and it's run right straight down the house. Yeah. It just looks like hell. And so that's what it was for me, man. And I was making good money. I was making people happy. Mm-hmm. And I was making good money. You know, I think our best year was like $2.5 million a year, just slinging satellite.
Wow, that's amazing.
You know, we were doing probably 50 to 100 a month. You know, especially with the fair and stuff going on.
Yeah.
And but it just slowly kind of,
when that goes away, that's, you got to kind of change your lifestyle.
And I kind of got stuck. I got stuck trying to fix it, right? I'm sure other businesses.
I think that happens a lot of times when you're passionate about something. You just spend so much time trying to make it what it was that you can't, and you're spending so much time trying to recreate.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah. What's the next one?
So,
how we doing, guys? Thank you for all the comments. I'm trying to. Yeah, of course.
You keep answering all my questions before I can even get them out.
I know. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine. So tell us about some of the stuff that you have, some of the new things that you're doing.
Well,
what's your newest investment that you have?
Well, we're not going to get into that yet. That's coming next. But with the racing and stuff like that, that's another kind of funny story because what I'm using even right now in the studio. It's called a Sling Studio, and Dish, one of my distributors, pushed me on, was pushing this product on me for probably 6 months, and I'm like, I don't want nothing to do with this, right? I mean, I was straight up, and I did that for months and months and months, and then finally they had such a good deal on it. One of my distributors or one of my Dish people called me and said, just try it, right? And for whatever reason, I'm like, all right, whatever, send it to me, right? Well, then I tried it by throwing it in the back of my truck, and then I had my, I was just looking around for people. I'm like, who do I know that can do this for me, right? Because I hate computers. I don't, that's funny too, because the technology part, I don't like it. I grew up, I didn't see a computer until I was in college.
Right.
And I
didn't see them. It was typewriting, and that's pretty much it.
And I just never, but then fortunately I was driving down the road one day, and my friend Troy was opening the new bar, and he stopped me, and then I'm like, hey, aren't you doing a podcast or something? He goes, yeah. And I'm like, hey, I got this thing where you can do multi-screens and logos and stuff like that. Can we try it? So we literally went to the studio, the old studio at 97X, where Jay and Troy were there, and we just started playing with it. And then Sonny came in, and Sonny started getting everything working, and I'm just like, look at that, it worked out. I didn't have to do anything. And then we started having some fun with it, man. I mean, we just started doing other things with it, and then we ended up at the racetrack, and then we were just doing it live on Facebook, and then, then the promoter's like, hey, we're not getting as many people in the stands, so we kind of got kicked out. And I'm like, I get it. And then actually the job that I'm doing this weekend for Ryan Doom and Timmy Current, they called me and they were trying to do a pay-per-view. I think it was COVID or something. Yeah, it must have been COVID. It was COVID. So they want to do a pay-per-view. So then I'm like, okay, sure. Because I'm rarely turn stuff down. I'll figure it out. But I was trying to figure out how to get like a YouTube channel or something and have people subscribe to it and stuff. And then Bibster, Kyle, somehow he got the guy that I'm working for an hour with IMCA called me and says, I'll send you what you need. Just listen to me and we'll be all right. And it worked out. And then now, I had 4 tracks last year. Some of the tracks are looking for promoters now. We've done some ice racing, and I mean, it's another thing. I've had a blast, but man, I'll tell you what, to be on live video and to have something go wrong is a feeling that I wouldn't wish on anybody.
A little stressful?
It's terrible because, I mean, as soon as something goes wrong, everybody's blasting you on the internet, and I'm like, I'm trying to fix this. I don't know what I'm doing. Right. I mean, so,
keep cool.
and it's just, I mean, it's crazy because you got people, especially once we started doing the pay-per-view.
If they're paying for it, they get a little upset.
Yeah. And then people get mean, man. I mean, they get mean, and I'm like, dude.
Oh, they're keyboard warriors.
And I'm like, right. And I'm like, do you want me to answer the phone or do you want me to get this thing back up? Right. I mean, we have 2 choices here, you know? So that's been good, and that kind of led into the next thing that I'm doing because one day at Davenport Speedway, right after we opened up, I was doing the stream there. I'm glad that air just kicked on.
I know.
I can't control anything from this chair. So it was COVID, and I was doing the stream at Davenport. It was right when they first opened back up from COVID. I think the first one when I did for Ryan and Timmy was before, and then the Davenport Speedway was after they had opened back up. So I was up there in the stands by myself. They allowed, I think it was 10 groups of 10 in the pits. Well, my buddy 3 from Crow Valley, a guy I met from doing satellite, he had bought a TV like I have now, you know, and I asked him, I'm like, dude, we got a little thing going on here. We got some people. We had a bunch of people come out. It worked out great. And that was it for years for the TV. But then I don't know even who called me. Somebody called me and asked me if I could still get that TV. So I called my friend 3, and he goes, no, man, I sold it, but I wish I had one. And I'm like, really? Tell me more. You know, so I talked with him for a while, and then I called the place that I bought my TV from, and they're like, well, we don't even have one. We can't even get you one for 3 months. And then I told him who I was talking to, and he goes, oh, well, maybe we could sell you the one we built last year that we've been using. And I'm like, well, what's the deal on that one? So, and then of course I went to my bank, and my bank said no. And because I don't think they knew what it was. Right. I don't think. Well, yeah. So then I kind of, you know, I'm like, well, that wasn't meant to be. And then a few months later, a guy that works for the company I bought the TV for called me, and I'm like, listen, I don't have time, I guess, to mess around with it. You know, my debt to income isn't in the best shape. So he goes, well, you got loans, right? Whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I've never missed a loan. I pay all my bills, whatever. So,
it's the self-employment thing.
Yeah, right.
It's hard
exactly.
when you're self-employed. It's hard to get a loan.
Yeah. So, so I'm like, all right, what the hell? You know, he goes, I get you approved in 24 hours. And I'm like, no kidding. And I'm like, what do I got to send you? Because I had to get all my taxes together. You know the deal, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm like, and they took forever at my bank. Like, I swear to God, like 3 months. And then it was a phone call saying, we can't help you out. And I'm like, really? That's it? That's it. We can't help you out. So it is what it is. And then, so this guy said, you know, so I sent him in. I filled out the application over the phone. And he called me up the next day. He says, yeah, we got you approved. When do you want this thing? And I'm like, what? Because I had like forgot. I would like
kind of put it off.
Yeah, I'm done.
Wrote it off.
So, and that worked out great too, because the company I bought it from, actually, they don't have a rental now. So I get a lot of their rentals, and it's been rented every weekend since I've had it. Nice. I got another rental this weekend. Then we're a little bit slow, but so that's that. And it was all, I don't even know how it happened. Like I said, I mean, I here I am. I have a production studio, you know, this podcast room I built 2 or 3 years ago. I've never really used it. So thank you for helping me with my website and saying, hey, we should do a podcast. You know, so I don't know, if you'd asked me 5 years ago what I'd be doing today, there's no way I could have guessed that, you know? So I guess, I still love what I do. And now it's even better, because now I can go anywhere in the country. I've been doing this long enough where I can put a show on anywhere in the country, and I can even bring my own TV with me. Mm-hmm. But, you know, as far as knowing where I was going or what I was doing, I had no clue. You know, I was just taking the opportunities as they were coming up.
Sometimes you just have to roll with it.
Right.
How do you maintain your work-life balance?
It's all work.
It's all work? Well, that sounds awesome. Yeah.
I mean, if anybody that owns their own business, and feel free to chime in, I mean, it just doesn't stop, man. Right. I mean, it doesn't stop. I don't mind it though. It's, I don't know, my mind never stops. Mm-hmm. So I'm always looking at something, and probably more than I should be, I guess. But I don't know. I just feel like the opportunity is out there. There's so many opportunities out there. And just like with the, you know, if I wouldn't have said yes, when, you know, after they bugged me about that Sling Studio, I mean, I wouldn't have the opportunity to go anywhere in the country. I wouldn't have an opportunity to do anything. And now I'm like, and that's what I've always wanted. My goal in life is to be able to travel, be able to make money, and to have my freedom, because I don't want to be tied down to this.
Right. Correct.
You know, so it's worked out very well, actually.
No, totally understand what you're saying. You know, as everything is evolving, you know, what else do you have? What else do you have coming up, or what?
Well, that's an interesting question, and yeah, thank you, Nicole. She's probably the one that was doing it too, actually. I am couple different things with that. I'm closing a few doors. I'm going to be redoing my store here pretty soon. I'm going to go ahead and close the door on most of the retail. Dish and DirecTV, I'll probably do it like as referrals to other companies.
Sure.
I've been talking to a few people about doing some of the other stuff that we do, cameras and stuff like that, and I'm still going to be around, and I'm still willing to do consultations and stuff like that. But I just don't want to run a store anymore. I don't want to run an office. I don't want to do payroll. I don't want to do that stuff. I want everything automated. So I've been talking with Joe Indy over at Fin AV and IT. So anything going forward, I mean, I'm not closing it right now, right? But I am going to be redoing that side, and and if anybody's looking for anything, I've got stuff that it needs to go before I leave for Florida here pretty soon. So Fin AV and IT, I've known Joe for a while. Joe helped me on a big job in Chicago for one of my friends that, you know, was like one of them impossible jobs. Joe is way deeper in it. I mean, he does some, they do like $500,000-$600,000 church jobs. I mean, he's about the best you can get, I think, as far as doing what we do. So we've been chatting with him. So he's going to take over any of the installs and stuff like that as they come up. We'll be working together, and like I said, he's got a team. He's got the vans. He's got the techs. He's got, you know, he's got the people in the office. He's got everything all set up. So I'm just let me know how I can help you, and that'll put me back out doing what I like to do. I like to be out in the sales and just out doing other things. This store's been great to me, but I'm just not. It's just nothing left. If I don't get out now, it's going to probably eat me alive.
Right. No. I understand what you're saying. Sometimes it's better to cut the ties and.
Yeah, without putting more money into it or getting more techs and doing more advertising, more marketing, more something. I don't know. I mean, TV is expensive, and even streaming is getting more expensive, and it's going to get more expensive. But I've been getting removed from the game kind of for a minute.
Yep.
And I don't even know how many retailers are left in the Quad Cities. Galaxy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was probably 15, 5, 6, 7 years ago.
Really?
And we were all eating, right? I mean, we were all eating. Mm-hmm. So, and I don't know. I think most businesses like that. If you don't, especially with technology, man. I guess I'm in a technology field, so it's a little bit different for me, because technology changes so fast, and if you can't get in front of it,
you got to be steps ahead of it, or you're behind.
You're gonna get lost. Yeah.
So this is available for rent then?
Well, yeah, it will be. I need to find somebody. I'd love to have a high school kid or a college kid or something that's into broadcasting or media or anything like that we can train, because, I just don't have time to do it, and I'm not good at it. I can get by, but I'm just not that guy that wants to sit around. I'd rather be out doing stuff.
Sure.
So like I said, I'm not selling the store. I'm not moving away. We'll still probably have bikes. I'll still be able to sell internet and stuff like that, but installs and stuff like that, probably going to sell the vans. Mm-hmm. I've got Misty and John set up on another new project that I'm working on, so we're going to go into that. And the racing thing, that's another thing that I don't know. I don't know where that's going to go either, man, because I mean, that's a totally different animal, but it's a lot of money for these drivers and for these, I mean, it's a lot of money to run them cars around the track. Weekly racing has been struggling, and probably because, kids aren't maybe coming to the track. I don't know what the exact answer is. I've been doing weekly shows, and I've got a few tracks that don't have a promoter next year, so I'm just going to keep it open. I will still do some weekly stuff. I'd like to get more involved in the bigger shows. And I don't know. I love the sport, and I'll tell you something about that. If I'd have found that, I don't know, 10 years ago. I mean, the racetrack. Look at all these pictures of these cars on the track, or on my wall. They all have different sponsors on them. For a business guy, what better place to get in contact with 25, 30, 40 different businesses, because they love what they do. They want to see their name. They want to hear their name. They want to see their name. You know what I mean? So I'm like, and that, I was fortunate to run into that. And it just, I wish I'd have found it earlier, man. And I grew up at a racetrack. I just had never really been to a dirt track. Keith Bloom is the one that got me there, and he passed away here a few years ago. But same thing with him. He's like, hey, will you sponsor my car? And I got tired of him bugging me. So I'm like, yeah, what do you need? And then he's like, you should come up to the track. And then I'm like, and I went up to the track, and I'm like, whoa, this is kind of cool. I'd never been to a dirt track. So I went up to see Keith Bloom. I grew up on an asphalt track up at Grundy County Speedway. Not on the track, but by the track. But we used to go to that when I was a kid, but I didn't know what dirt track racing was. I don't know. So, that kind of worked out too. So
how will you be able to network to get into these bigger, to get involved in that? Is there opportunities there?
IMCA is a great help, being a part of that team, but same kind of platform. And with the platform I'm on, there's other like smaller people like me that do racing and stuff throughout the country. Like this one in Arkansas I'm doing next week, that was totally from IMCA. They were trying to get somebody to come down and do the stream, and they mentioned me. So I'm like, yeah, and I've got a couple tracks in Florida. I'll be heading down there pretty soon. Hendry County, Ken Kinney down there has been great. And that's something too, down in Florida, the southernmost dirt track in the country. And it's a great place, great people. But they're so far away from everything else, you know what I mean? They're 4 hours from the nearest track up north. So, but just in the 2-3 years that we've been down there, last year, we were able to, we put on I think it was a factory stock, $20,000 to win. And we literally had people parked on the street a mile and a half down the road. I mean, the place was packed full.
Nice.
So that also makes you, it just gives you, because, and we had quite a few people on the sales for the broadcast and stuff too. So, so as far as racing and stuff next year, I'm still going to be doing it. I don't know where I'm going to be. I don't know. It wouldn't hurt my feelings to jump on with another team, with IMCA, or to do some of the bigger shows. Now they got the RV and stuff like that. It would be fun to do something like that. But I'm just going to keep it open and see what happens. Yeah.
Okay, keep your options open.
Right.
So what else? What else you got going on?
What else? Well, my newest adventure I'm really excited about, and it's something that nobody's even heard of, but I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know about it right now. I just bought a Finmo banking franchise, one of the first in the U.S.
What's Finmo?
Finmo, it stands for Financial Momentum. Okay. So basically, and I'm going to show a video here in a minute, but I'll just say a little bit about it. I've found a company that started, it's only 6 months old, and it doesn't launch until November, but they have an actual Visa card. Okay, it's a debit card that has dollar for dollar rewards.
Okay.
So everybody, I have several reward cards. I have all kinds of other, I get credit cards that pay 1%, 2%, and it blew me away. I'm like, what? That's impossible.
Yeah,
right?
That's the catch.
That's impossible. It's too good to be true. So I started doing the research, and it's not something that somebody just thought of like last week. This guy's been working on it for 20 years. He's put, I don't know, $4 or $5 million of his own money in it. And he's been kind of waiting for the technology to catch up. So it's basically, and the FinMo part of it means that with technology and AI and all this other stuff coming around nowadays, right, there's actually ways that you can, without doing anything different, right, you can like take the money that you're already making and at least do the most with it. That's kind of what the FinMo means. So like I said, the only thing we're asking, and it's something that what got me is there's all kinds of loyalty cards and loyalty programs out there, but they're loyal to what? They're loyal to Quick Shop or to Casey's company or to Shell or to wherever, right? Well, this one's actually loyal to you because I don't care if you shop at Quick Shop, Casey's, Costco, Sam's, I don't care. You get dollar for dollar rewards. So, I mean, and it hasn't even launched yet. So to be in the timing, and it was another one of them things where I'm like, I just decided to shut my store down, and still be active doing things, but not have the retail presence and have the vans rolling and stuff like that. And this came up, so I started looking at it, and you know, it's really cool once I dug into it because being before the launch, and it's $25. And if you sign up before October 31st, that $25 is a lifetime membership. Just like Costco. Costco charges you every year or something annual. To have. That's an annual thing with Costco. It'll be an annual thing with this one too after November. Okay. It'll be $25 a year, right? But right now it's $25, lifetime membership. Plus you get 500. It's the Transact card is the name of it, and you get Z-Bucks. And what do you do with Z-Bucks? Great question. With this banking part of it, and once I show the video, that'll clear some stuff up. So basically we've taken the big banks out of it, right? Since I own a digital branch, a banking branch, the big banks aren't involved. But that means that the $3.1 billion last year was ran just on transaction fees with credit cards, you know, because when you run your credit card or debit card at the gas station, the gas station gets charged 3%, right? So my friends, when I'm paying with my card, they're like, dude, I'm sorry, I got to charge you 3%. I get it, right? Because they get charged from the bank. Well, this is going into our ecosystem. So that 3-4% that the banks are getting, the big banks are getting, is coming back to us. So that's how it works. And then the second part of it is the Z Club, which is going to be just like Amazon. It's the same pricing and stuff like that. And that's where you use your Z-Bucks. So like if there's a pair of sunglasses or something for $100 on Amazon, on Ray-Ban or whatever, and then you go to the Z Club, you know, they're $100 there, but you can pay like $50 cash and $50 in Z-Bucks. Okay. So that free money that you're getting from just swiping your card. Reward. Yeah, and you're not doing anything different. You know, I mean, I've been in stuff where you had to buy this product or, you know, a lot of, and it's a franchise. So that's a big deal. Yeah. Because, you know, and people look at me like I'm crazy. It's too good to be true. And I'm like, well, it's funny because they've already got contracts. They've already passed all the tests from Visa. It's FDIC insured. They've already got all the home business attorneys, the banking, the franchise. It's all past that. So they have contracts with Nike, you know, all kinds of different companies. Advanced Auto cost, let's see, I got some notes here. Apple is a part of it. They have over 200 celebrities that are going to be pushing, you know, not pushing, but that are going to have this card. They could be, you know, they'll be branded cards like Garth Brooks, and there's several charities and stuff. Best Buy, Callaway, CVS, AutoZone, they're already a part of it, right? So to be able to take the same money you're spending, it's just don't use your credit card, use this card, and you get dollar for dollar rewards, and then you can go shopping. There's other ways to get paid for it. So I probably went too far. I'm going to play this video, so everybody take a look at this video, and then we'll be back on. If you have any questions or anything, it's only 3 minutes long. I've got to put this out there because I've been trying to talk to as many of my friends and family. This is a friends and family thing right now. If you're not interested, fantastic. I get it. But in 6 months, you're going to see this everywhere. And let me see if I can figure out how to do this. Did it do it? Look at that. Okay. Now how do I hit play? I got to go to the computer. Hold on. I don't know if we're going to be able to hear it or not either. How did that go? There it goes.
Last year, as we all swiped our cards, banks cashed in, raking in a whopping $3.1 billion in fees alone. Meanwhile, retail prices shot through the roof, and retailers saw record earnings. But what about the average American? They didn't get the same boost. Instead, many were left penny pinching to deal with their soaring costs. This isn't the American dream. Something needs to change, and it needs to change now. Meet Transact Card. Now banking changes forever. Just like Uber disrupted transportation and Amazon disrupted retail, Transact Card is here to disrupt banking with unparalleled rewards and positive social impact. But how? Here are three
Can't hear it.
reasons. First, the Transact
I don't know how to
Card.
turn it up.
While it may appear as just an ordinary Visa bank card, the card is packed with extraordinary features, including an exceptionally generous rewards match. You've probably seen other cards with a typical offer like a 1%, 2%, or even 5% rewards match on purchases. But guess how much Transact Card matches? Good guess, but it's actually a mind-blowing 100%. That's right. For every dollar you spend, Transact Card rewards you with a one-for-one match in Z-Bucks. Every dollar you spend earns you an equal amount in Z-Bucks. Every purchase, every day. Imagine doubling your buying power and making the money you are already spending go twice as far.
Yeah, there it goes, Mitch.
Enter Z-Bucks.
I don't know what to do, guys.
Spend $127
Say put the link in the comments.
27 Z-Bucks. Use these Z-Bucks to buy down the price on hundreds of thousands of items in Transact Card's vast online marketplace called Z-Club. Shop national brands and everyday items from dish soap to diapers to fashion, luxury, and even travel. And 3, reinvesting in its members. In a world where most banks prioritize shareholder profits, Transact Card prioritizes member benefits, from zero cash flash sales to Z-Bucks offers and more. Transact Card is breaking the mold, putting customers first and giving them a financial boost. Now that's disruption. A disruption that's quickly gaining traction.
Okay, well, that didn't work. Hold on. Let's see if I can shut the thing off.
Already enrolled with Transact Card, and that's just during its pre-launch phase. Brace yourself.
Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, nothing worse than having something take a shit on you when you're right in the middle of it. Yeah,
you
I
just
don't.
put the link in the comments.
I'll put the link in the comments. I apologize. I just wanted to get that out to everybody. I'm going 100% into this, and I think this could be absolutely huge. I think it could be bigger than Amazon in 5-10 years. It's just the United States. So I don't even know where that's coming from. Okay. Great story, I guess. I don't know if I shut it off or not. I guess we'll find out here in a second. No, we didn't. All right. I guess that's it. I'll put the link in the comments. I apologize, but now I'm over it. So I don't know how to shut it off. So that's why we need somebody to run this thing and, whatever. All right. So now we're echoing and stuff. All right. Hey, guys, thanks for joining. I apologize for this bomb that just went off in my face.
All good.
But,
Hey,
we'll be back.
We got?
Let me know if you're interested. You're going to see a lot about this. I'm going to shut this